Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of In the Zone. This is episode 159. I'm Giancarlo Aulino, being joined here as always with Anthony Pagniello, Chris Martelli. Guys, we're going to start off with some Leaf news because it's not looking good. Mitch Marner is going to be out for a while with an injury. He was on a roll here and now he gets injured. So start off with you, Chris. What were your thoughts on the injury and who needs to step up in your eyes on this Leafs team now?
It came out of nowhere, to be honest. I was very surprised. I didn't see the injury. I heard about it after the fact, and even there were a couple other guys that got injured with the article that I saw, but I'm not sure if it was against who was the last team they played. I'm pretty sure it was I don't know if it was against the Wild. He got injured because I think that was the last game he played. I didn't really see what happened, but apparently he dislocated his shoulder, which is the injury that Jack Hughes just suffered, and he was out for about 5 weeks. So they said that I don't know if it's dislocated or not because I think his timetable was 2 to 3 weeks for Marner. So I don't know what the severity of the injury is, but yeah, when your top winger is out, it makes a difference. And I saw it last game. I mean, without Marner, it just kind of feels off. I mean, it's hilarious because Toronto media just bashes the shit out of Marner. Like if he doesn't play well, we all know that he's getting the comeuppance in the media. But you know when you miss it, when you don't see him, it's just very weird. But I don't know what to feel, Aulino. This is a team we've been probably the hottest team the last month. So we've lost two straight. We allowed what 6 goals against Winnipeg the other night. So defensively, we got to be better. I know that game was a freaking dramatic roller coaster, that game with what happened, but man, with Marner out, I think William Nylander, he's been doing incredible overall this year, but I think as of late he hasn't been putting the puck in the net as much. So maybe just trying to get those offensive numbers up, maybe score a little more goals because John Tavares, guys, wow, he's arguably been a top 20 player this year. So we always talk bad about Tavares' contract, but as of right now, I don't really have any complaints. Tavares has been unreal. So I'm going to say Willie has to step up and score a little more.
Guess the short answer would be Willie because he's the next best winger on the team. But I don't know if any one player is going to replace what Marner brings. So as awesome as Nylander's been, I just think it's more of like they got to pick it up as a team, and everyone's just got to keep doing what they're doing. But yeah, losing Marner, that is killer.
And speaking of losses there, Jason Spezza, who knew
Oof.
that this man was a under the radar kind of rebel, goes and gets suspended for 6 games with a knee. Pagniello, this is kind of out of character of Spezza, but are you seeing this as a good load management thing, or do you think he's going to lose a spot here in the roster?
Load manage. Well, first off, the play was extremely dirty, but I do like that it happened, and I'll explain why. So, yeah, basically Neil Pionk throwing a run over there at our young boy Rasmus Sandin, and it's Spezza basically saying, "We're not going to take that shit." So he probably could have gone about it in a different fashion because that fucking knee pump was something out of another sport. But yeah, definitely out of character. Fuck, for real. It's 100% out of character. I love that he did it for that, but yeah, suspending him was right, and yeah, hopefully Buddy's okay.
Yeah, you guys all know how I feel about Pionk. He's on my fantasy team, so seeing him do that was a little frustrating. And now he's in concussion protocol because of the hit, which is good on Spezza, man. You're a good teammate. You know exactly what you did there. Um, we all, people forget that Spezza played in a completely different league back in the day. So when he was a rookie, he had guys like Radek Bonk, Chris Neal. Like those guys were all over the other team when he got hurt. So I'm not surprised at all seeing what Spezza did. He just goes out there and basically GTS's Pionk while he's on the ice. Freaking hilarious. 6 games, I don't know. I do think it was intentional, but I don't think 6 games really. Like he's a first-time offender and he's been in the league for 2 decades. I don't really know if
Jesus.
6 games was you know appropriate, but I guess it is a lesson that the league is taking to kind of, not have these situations happen. But I mean, again, I do like what you mentioned there, Aulino, with load management. We've been saying for years, these guys that they brought in, like Spezza, Thornton, Plekanec, even Marlowe at the end of his career with the Leafs. Like if he did that knowing that he's going to be exhausted and he can't play 80, I mean, no athlete's going to openly say, I can't play 82 games unless you're, I hate to say this, but I got to chirp them, unless you're like AD, Joel Embiid, any of those guys, they're not playing a full year. But if you're Jason Spezza and like you're 39 years old now, you played well over 1,000 games, you know what, maybe doing this, being a big leader here, sending a message, and plus getting the rest that you need, maybe it's just beneficial. But again, if the Leafs go on a 6-game losing streak without Jason Spezza, then this whole argument is just going to collapse on itself. But for now, I'll just say it was nice to see a guy stick up for his teammate. We haven't really seen it a lot. I'm not going to call this team, soft, but they've been labeled that for years. So no one's really stuck up to for their teammates. Like, a couple guys like Simmons, Muzzin, like those type of guys. But a guy like Spezza, we saw last year, guys, in the playoffs, we were bashing our whole team except Spezza because he was putting it all out there every single shift. And like even again this year, Sandin, hot start, clear knee on knee, easily a knee on knee, dirty hit. Spezza says, you know what? I'm not taking that shit. I'm gonna send a message. So that's what I think. Aulino, though, I want your thoughts because I know you're a big Spezza. I know you're a huge Spezza guy.
Yeah, that was clean. Old time hockey. Let's go. I saw it was he just bumped into him. I thought I didn't see anything wrong with it. Spezza just tried to avoid it, and Pionk just happened to be there running into his knee. Is anyone going to ask Spezza how his knee feels after colliding with Pionk? No, but he got suspended for it. I think that if that was his argument, maybe it would have worked, but I think Spezza right now, he's a big part of the team with some of the young guys, his veteran presence there. So they're going to miss that over this next stretch. Hopefully they don't go on a losing streak where it's like, you know what, this may have impacted everything. I know they got the win there against Columbus, which was barely a win. Made it interesting there with Domi scoring at the end, but I think they should be fine, especially now when they're going to be playing Tampa. And you look at Austin Matthews, 17 goals all of a sudden. He's closing in on 20. Maybe he'll get it against Tampa, a hat trick. But Chris, what do you think of Austin Matthews all of a sudden starting to find the back of the net again?
Well, this goes out to all those fans out there that said that he can't do anything without Marner. So there you go. I mean, us Toronto fans, we know how good Matthews is, but some of these other people, man, they're oblivious. They're like, you know what? He's good in certain instances. And it's like, what the hell does that mean? The guy's getting paid almost $12 million. I'm going to continue to say this until he retires. He is a top 5 even strength scorer. He's one of the best even strength scorers I've ever seen in my life. So he's got all the talent in the world. I'm not surprised. Even when he was, on that cold streak, he was getting 8 shots a game. So he's always been that aggressive shooter. He's always going to, get those high-end opportunities. They just weren't going in. And now with Marner out, I wouldn't be surprised if Keefe's like, yeah, this is your team right now. This is where you show us how much star power you truly have at an individual level. So, guys, honestly, if Marner's out for another 3 weeks, I wouldn't be surprised if Matthews just erupts.
I mean, who the fuck is surprised? That question kind of surprised me. Like Matthews, ever since stepping into the league, regardless of who he's with, is just you just kind of assume what he's gonna do. Like even Chris, I remember you sent me a video, like the 17-18 year, all of his goals. You're like, this was a different year for Matthews. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he went on a 13-game goalless streak that year. So I'm like, you just see it with goal scorers. They're on and then they're off. The guy's amazing. Right now, Austin Matthews is fucking on.
And now it looks like Bunting has turned into the new Marner there on that line. Surprise, came out of nowhere. But if he starts getting more points now, are people going to have all these unrealistic expectations for Bunting playing with Matthews?
Absolutely. I've already heard it from guys at work saying he could be better than Hyman, and I just started laughing. I'm like, no, there's no way. I mean, good on Bunting. He's I think tied for third in rookie scoring, which is a story in itself. But I mean, he's no Hyman. He's not that teammate. I know he generates a lot of penalties. He's a good instigator. It reminds me of Kadri back in the day and all those awesome guys. But it's just his stick handling isn't there. There's a lot of other fundamental things that he has to improve on. But other than that, yeah, man, like his role so far this year, he's definitely benefited the team, no doubt about it. Guys like him, Simmons, even Kashe and Kampf, like they've tremendously bolstered this team and the depth on this team. So right now, I mean, Bunting did give me a concussion all those years ago, but right now I just gotta compliment the guy. He's been playing well.
I'm gonna get this guy's jersey, fucking frame it, just for that reason. He's good though, man. I wish he wasn't on the top line, but the Leafs need more players like that. So, but yeah, Chris, I think I was talking with you the other day about Bunting specifically. I think this guy's still fucking eligible for the Calder. I'm not 100% sure because like last year he played 20 something games, and the year before he played one game. So I'm pretty sure even at 25, 26 years old, he's still considered a rookie, which to me is fucking insane.
I mean, I want to ask too, because Pagniello, I know you picked him up in fantasy, Trevor Zegras, because he was before the season started. There wasn't even a debate for the rookie of the year. It was between Zegras and Caulfield. So now that Zegras has I think he has 11 assists in his last 8 games. Do you see Zegras maybe? I know you said you had him winning the Calder, but do you still think that Raymond and Seider have the edge over Zegras, or do you think now with Getzlaf hurt, you think Zegras can take over now?
I'm gonna stick with my guy in Zegras. I think regardless of, I think Getzy going down might hurt him a little. I don't know. I don't think Zegras in that situation where it's like, okay, it's my team, fuck everyone. I think he needs all these young guys still need all the help they can get. So I'll still rock with my guy for winning the Calder, but I am much more surprised with Seider and Raymond coming in and being as impactful as they are. So I love that it's actually a race because I did think it'd be one guy. Even over Caulfield going into it, I thought it was Zegras, but seeing all these guys not come out of nowhere, just produce earlier than expected is an awesome sign.
Yeah, Zegras a nice little pickup there in Anaheim. They got it right with him because now when Getzlaf eventually retires, at least they have somebody to build around. So that's positive. But if you're looking at Zegras' surroundings, does he have another player that he can really push the pace with and lead to success there in Anaheim, or is he going to be screwed for a couple of years?
I mean, it's looking like it's Troy Terry, who is that guy to build around with Zegras and Comtois and Max Jones. Unfortunately, him and Sam Steele, I was really high on both those guys when they got drafted, and it's looking like they're not really working out. But I do like Comtois a lot. What we saw, I think he captained Canada, so like I like what I see from Comtois from time to time. He's got to be a little more consistent, but Zegras, man, he reminds me. He's a very nifty. He kind of reminds me of a Barzell. He's a very nifty centerman, and once he gets his confidence going, he's already pouring in assists. He looks like a center version of Goudreau right now. He's just so silky, and he always tries to create the play and not finish it. So I got Zegras, man. He's going to be an absolute problem. I think I still have Raymond winning the Calder right now, just because it's Detroit. Like this is a team where I was looking like at their fucking depth chart, and Adam Ernie and like Vrana, like those are like the top line wingers, and it's like, nah, that's not going to cut it. And all of a sudden, yeah, Lucas Raymond, I thought he was going to go back to Sweden, and he comes in, he makes the team, and he's an immediate impact. So, but to answer your question, I mean, Aulino, it should be Troy Terry, but you never know. He could fall off.
And another team that we got to talk about here is an interesting one because they finally did something to change us all around. The Vancouver Canucks, they bring in Bruce Boudreau, fire Benning, fire their coach Travis Green, and now it looks like the GM they just announced is Jim Rutherford. So someone's getting traded. Who's getting traded, you think? And do you think Bruce Boudreau can turn this team around?
Take it,
You got
Pagniello.
it. Well, okay. Bruce, absolutely. Straight offensive minded coach. I think with some of the weapons they have on this team, I like the mix with Bruce Boudreau on the Canucks. But in terms of who's getting traded, I've been hearing rumblings it's JT Miller. Like, I still don't know why. I feel like that'd be one of the guys I'd want to keep if I'm the Canucks, but I don't know. Like, do you think they're trying to clean house on their roster? Well, do you think they'd want to? I think Tyler Myers might be a guy they'd want to move out, but I don't know. When I look at a lot of their young guys, there's not a lot I'd really want to fuck with.
I'm gonna say the guy before hiring Bruce Barbecue Bruce, I want to say I was gonna say Brock Besser was the guy to go, but it's not looking like that right now because the first two games, I don't know if you guys have seen the press conference or any of that, but Bruce has been talking a lot about Brock. So I don't know if Brock's a guy that he wants to trade. I know he openly said to the media, he's like, me and Brock, we've always kind of had a close relationship. And the first game I said to him, when every time I would face you, like you would shoot the puck probably the most every night, and you're not shooting. So first game he coaches, he tells Brock to shoot, and the guy gets a goal. So I feel like I know it's obviously way too premature to say, but after seeing the first two games of Vancouver under Bruce, I think the guy that's benefited the most is Brock Besser for sure. So I'm going to say JT Miller is the guy that's going to go. And the only reason being, he leads their team in points. And if you really want to do a shakeup, you get rid of the guy that leads your team in points. And again, it's no knack on JT Miller. It's just like you said, Pagniello, there's a lot of the young guys that I'm looking at there. I'm not moving them. And I don't care what state my franchise is in. I'm not moving a guy like Pedersen or Quinn Hughes. There's no way. Because the whole offseason, it was all about those two staying in Vancouver, not leaving. So if I'm Jim Rutherford, I know there's the whole thing of when Jim Rutherford goes to a team, he cleans house. He at least gets rid of three core guys. So as of right now, nobody's safe, but I'll say JT Miller will be the guy out for sure.
Yeah. Think a package trade like a Myers and JT Miller for someone to come in, or do you think he'll just do one or the other for now?
Oh, I think that's got to be separate. I don't know Tyler Myers' deal, but I think it's pretty lengthy. I know teams could use him out there. Like that's the big right-handed D. Fucking if you're big and right-handed, yeah, every team wants you. So I think Myers he's making a lot. They're gonna ship both of those guys out. Probably got to be a separate deal, but let's assume they trade JT Miller. Like, how do you view this team? Because if that's one of their best players, like, are they rebuilding? Are they retooling? Are they just in the middle of the pack figuring out? Like, I don't even know what the team is.
Yeah, we've said, well, I mean, I've said it for the last 2 years, is they were scratching the surface of being something special, man. They beat out they beat out the defending cup champs 2 years ago, and then all of a sudden they just let Markstrom walk. And it's like, okay, well, I still think we're good. I still think we could go, but let's see. And then of course, last year comes in the all Canadian division and they got rocked with COVID, absolutely rocked. So then you're optimistic going into this year. It's like, all right, I mean, we're relatively healthy. We added Ekman Larson, we added Garland. Let's see what we can do here. And again, before the year started, I said they'd be better than Edmonton. And wow, was I just flat out wrong about that? But it happens. And I don't know what I really don't know. I want to say they're retooling, but again, like Jim Rutherford's a guy that usually he's very impatient when it comes to status of a team. Like he wants to know right away what they are. And I think maybe I know, Aulino, you're the one that brought it up, saying is he going to trade anyone? I think he's going to trade someone very very shortly. I don't think he's going to wait till the deadline. I mean, here's another question too, though. I could ask too, because I say JT Miller's gone. I think that's a foregone conclusion that he's gone, but I don't know where he would go. That's the funny part. I really don't know where JT Miller would go because the last team he was on was Tampa Bay. It looked like he fit really well, and then all of a sudden they shipped him out. And then again, the same thing in Vancouver. He's leading their team in points. It's between him or Quinn Hughes. And again, JT Miller now being shipped out. So I don't know if this is a panic move on Vancouver's part because we do know that their fan base is just as hectic as the Leafs. Not as hectic, but just it's about the same. But I mean, Aulino, I'll ask you this because you're the guy that usually likes making these takes. Would you trade Pettersson if you're really in this state?
Oh no, not Pettersson. I'm keeping Pettersson. JT Miller, I think, would be an attractive piece. I'd say like a Canadian team like Winnipeg, Ottawa, Montreal, who lost to Foley. So if you're trading JT Miller, I'd look at those teams. But Pettersson, I'm not touching. He's untouchable. Him, Quinn Hughes, Besser, depending on what you can get from a team. Like if the offer's not worth it, I'm keeping Besser. So yeah,
I didn't mean to say Pettersson. I meant to say Horvat. I didn't mean to say Pettersson.
Yeah, Horvat too.
For a second, I thought he was the captain, Pettersson. I'm like, no, hold on. Horvat's the captain. Hold on, my bad. No, don't trade Pettersson. No.
Yeah, Horvat, like it's an interesting one. Like he's been there since the last years of the Sedin twins, so they've been really working with them and turning him into that leader. It would be it'd be tough to trade a guy like that, especially who's important to the rebuild of the team. Unless you're getting something proven in return, I wouldn't just get a trade for like some 4th round pick or 3rd round pick just to flip the script there and go in another direction. But yeah, like it's tough. Horvat going on, like can't just trade your captain who's important to the team like that.
I feel like as time goes on, though, it's something they'd look at, even though they wouldn't want to. Because like you said, he has been there for, when the fuck, 2013 draft, right?
Yeah, he even made the team like relatively early in his career too.
So like, yeah, if they feel like, man, I think I was thinking 1 year back in London with fucking Mitchie and Domi, and then straight to the show. But yeah, he's been through it all though. If they feel like he's a guy, like not like we have to get rid of you to fucking better our team, but maybe like a moving on situation. I don't know. I feel like Horvat would be a guy that would fit beautifully into a cup team. Honestly, I could see him scoring 20 points in the playoffs with like Carolina or some shit. Like if that's a guy they lose, that's a big shot. But it's not his fault. He's been playing top line center there for years, so we'll see. It might be time.
Yeah, this whole team is mind-boggling, honestly, man. Like like on paper, this team there shouldn't be this many issues. There really shouldn't. So I'm glad that they finally got rid of Green and Benning because, like, you're looking at the team and it's like, what the hell is the problem here? Like, even Pettersson at the beginning of the year, he had 9 points in the first 23 games. That is absolutely unacceptable. You can't be putting up those numbers and expecting people to still talk, nicely about you. So, I mean, everything was just, again, it was a black cloud in Chicago earlier on in the year. It looks like they're starting to get, their feet under themselves again. It looks like Vancouver, again, they had a black cloud with Jim Rutherford and Bruce Boudreau, 2 veteran coaching guys coming in the league. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say that like they can bounce back, but this team on paper is way too good to be doing what they're doing right now. I won't say their season is over just yet. I don't think they're in Montreal territory, but I mean, if they trade guys like JT Miller and Bo Horvat, I mean, you might as well just give up the season at that point. So I guess for now, retooling is the best way to describe this team.
I think another thing too, I don't think anyone expected the California teams to be as good as they were this year. That probably fucked Vancouver up a little bit. Because Anaheim is still second in their division.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So it's a lot of things for the Canucks.
Like even San Jose, remember at the beginning of the year, like Couture and Meyer were on like 9-game point streaks.
Like even though those teams are up and down, there's still a lot of positive points to take out of those teams. When you look at Vancouver, there's just, what's going on that's positive? Oh, well, fuck. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, it's like Quinn Hughes has been unreal, but we already knew he was going to be unreal. Connor Garland was the best player on Arizona last year. And no shit, he's second on the team in points in Vancouver because he was the best player in Arizona last year. So, like, there's some things that have happened with Vancouver this year that are not surprising at all in terms of the successful standpoint. But just the negative stuff is just so overbearing. Like, it's too much. Like, Bo Horvat 2 years ago looked like almost like a Kopitar 2.0 in that series against the Blues. He was freaking all over the ice everywhere. And now again, he's back to the 50-point guy that I thought he was going to break out and be maybe a 70-point guy. But JT Miller too, another guy. Like this is a guy I thought would be a long-term guy here, and it looks like a lot of these young guys are kind of, I guess maybe JT Miller rubbed them the wrong way. I have no idea, but yeah, I do agree with you there, Pagniello, with teams like Anaheim and San Jose and LA just kind of outperforming what we expected. But again, that's going to happen every year, so you have to be prepared for that. But I mean, Vancouver, damn, it's just been a tough couple of years for them. I still think though, like if we were to talk about them overall, I want to just say that I don't think they're as bad as they seem. I still believe that they are potentially a bubble team in the Western Conference.
It is.
Yeah, especially if you have Pedersen, Quinn Hughes, like can't get any worse than what's going on in Arizona where you literally got nothing. So could be worse if you're a Vancouver
Demko is
fan.
literally Gibson 2.0.
Yeah, like can't be any worse than that. Like at least be thankful that your team isn't bad. Be thankful they're still young, so they'll turn that around.
As long as they're young, it's okay.
Curious to see what they trade JT Miller for, though. You guys remember Tampa traded him as a salary dump, and they still got a first-round pick back for him.
Oh, he's easily worth a first and a prospect for sure. JT Miller.
If you're
I just
Ottawa,
feel like Vancouver. Yeah.
Would you go and try to get Connor Brown and like a few other of those pieces? Because I think Connor Brown is a type of player on Vancouver that would really thrive, kind of like what Hyman's doing on Edmonton.
Connor Brown, shorthanded, is like fucking McGillney. Or like Bure when he was with the Canucks. Do you guys see him when he's shorthanded? He's a fucking killer out there. He's one of those guys, man. Everyone loves Connor Brown. If you're the Canucks and you want to trade one of your star guys and get a guy like Connor Brown back, you obviously need a little more value, but holy shit, would that guy be valuable to your bottom six?
Yeah, I mean, Aulino, you're going to laugh, but Tanner Pearson was supposed to be that guy for Vancouver.
Oh, man.
And unfortunately, that just didn't work out. I mean, obviously you regress, but I didn't think he would regress to the level he unfortunately regressed to. Because when Pearson was on LA, he was a freaking problem. You know, if he's a two-time Stanley Cup champion, I know the first time he won, I think maybe he's a one-time champion, I'm not sure. But I know when they won, oh no, he is a one-time, yeah, because the year he got drafted by them was the 30th pick, and that was when they won. So, but anyway, Pearson was supposed to be what Connor Brown is for Ottawa, and that did not pan out. So I would not be surprised if they stay away from players like Connor Brown for now.
Oh, man. And Martin Jones was supposed to be... Never mind. But yeah, looking at some of the other notes around the league, some other news items here. Anything that strikes you about the NHL right now that you're looking forward to?
Oh, fuck. For me, I want to talk about the goal scoring because it just feels like it's a little bit ridiculous this year. Feels like year after year, the scoring just gets up, and it's at a stupid rate right now. And you know what? I'm going to talk about this team because Pagniello brought them up jokingly, but I do want to talk about them. The New Jersey Devils are doing better than the Philadelphia Flyers. Pagniello, why do you think that is, buddy?
Well, the Devils got a lot of nice young players stepping into their lineup, some that you probably wouldn't expect to be on the team this soon.
Come on, I want to hear you laugh. Come on, I know you want to laugh.
Well, yeah, you know, guys like Heischer and Hughes, they've been in and out of the lineup, and fucking beauties like Mercer and Sharangovich and Janssen and Brat have really picked up the load over there. I like Ty Smith a lot. For real though, like I didn't think Mercer was making the fucking team. I'm like, that's a good player. He'll probably a couple years down the line, maybe you're fucking Albany. We'll see. But he stepped in immediately. He's playing the top 6 role. I don't know. Janssen looks like he's playing on the fucking Marlies right now on the top 6 for the Devils. They're getting Jack Hughes back. Ty Smith is a good young player. Hamilton's been solid. Man, everything's just kind of panning out for New Jersey. Yeah, the fact that they're over Philly's a little surprising. Philly's a big fucking disappointment for me, but good for the Devils. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, Aulino, I know I said Philly would come second, and I'm pretty sure you said they would win the division too. Like, they just fired Alain Vigneault, and he's a really good coach. They lost 8 straight games. What is it with the Flyers? Because I was even looking at Couturier's stats, and last year he was about a point a game consistently all year, every game. I think the worst drought he ever went through was like a 4-game pointless streak, and that was about it. This year he went on a 9-game pointless streak, and he averages about 21 minutes a night. I don't know if they're not changing the lines enough. I don't know if the bottom 6 is like cutting it. I don't know what's going on, but I got to ask you, where do you think the problem lies in Philly?
I just think they don't even know what their identity is, which is like part of the reason why maybe Vigneault got fired, but it's just weird right now. Like they don't know what kind of team they want to be. Like they go and get Ryan Ellis. That looks like a big trade that's going to put them over the hump. And now it looks like their defense can't even keep the puck out of the net for their goalie. And they back themselves in a corner here now when you fire the coach and already have the replacement like lined up like that. You didn't really, I think, take more time to look at the best fit for what you have. It's like, okay, this guy has NHL experience. Let's throw him right in there. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it won't. But I think they should have taken more time, have an interim coach for like maybe a month, and then in the new year, bring in a guy that best fits your organizations. Maybe even Torts would have been the perfect choice for that. But I think they backed themselves in a corner here.
This team's more of a mystery to me than Vancouver, honestly. I feel like they got 4 solid fucking lines, and I love what they did to their D in the offseason. It's just not really panning out. I think Ryan Ellis has played, I don't have it in front of me. I'm pretty sure he's played no more than 5 games this year. I don't know what Risto's been up to. Provorov just has to do so fucking much at times. I'm curious what Philly fans think, but I feel like they should trade Travis Sanheim straight up. I don't know. Like, I like a lot of players on this team. The fact that they have 7 or 8 wins on the season is fucking mind-boggling to me.
Yeah, and again, like I want to bring this up. Claude Giroux, absolute beauty. He leads the team in points. This is like his 16th year with the team. There have been rumors now that he might be on the way out. He might waive his no trade clause. If Claude Giroux leaves this team, like what the hell is next for Philly? Because another question that I've been continuously asked, and it's no knack on this player. Like he came in as a 20-year-old goalie. It's not his fault. But like, is Carter Hart the new Jordan Binnington?
Whoa, in terms of what?
Because everybody, like when Binnington came on the scene, it was like, oh, he's great and all, but he's not going to be great for a long time. And when he won the cup, it's like, okay, he's Matt Murray 2.0. And then, of course, he had like 2 bad years after that. And now this year, it looks like he's kind of getting back to that form. Whereas you look at Carter Hart, I think it was 2 years ago, he was like arguably a top 5 individual performing goalie. Didn't matter the team. You just look at what he brings to the table. He might have been a top 5 goalie. In the last 2 years, good God, he's been pretty bad. I mean, last year was a complete write-off because, you know, they had to face different teams and that stuff. But this year, man, like he started off well, but recently, good God, been absolutely brutal. So I don't know if I'm panicking, like if the hockey world is basically giving up on him too fast. They already gave up on Nolan Patrick. So I'll start with you, Pagniello, because I know you like Carter Hart. Is it too early to panic, or do you give this guy maybe a couple more years?
No, it's way too fucking early to panic. I think this guy, he was in the World Juniors a couple of years ago. But goalies, though, their stories, like, it's all over the place. Like, Jack Campbell's the perfect fucking example of you don't know how shit's going to turn out. But I think for Carter Hart, all of the signs have always been there. I've always liked his game, even going back to juniors, and he had a phenomenal rookie year, and then he had a garbage second year. So just just wait it out. The Flyers got a good one. Hopefully they don't overwork the shit out of him to the point where trade rumors come up and all that stuff. But like I think they got a goalie for the future. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, but don't fuck it up, Philly.
Yeah, and they also got Morgan Frost over there in the system. I like him. I think he's a solid pickup, solid draft pick, and I don't know. Just looking at this team, like based on their record standings over here, it's looking rough. So they got to turn this around. They're losing 3-0 to Jersey, who's 10-9-5. They're right now 8-12-4. So if they don't pick it up now, Vegas, who's not really playing as well as everyone probably thought they would, but they're going to get Eichel soon. Arizona, that should be a winnable game. If you lose both these games and see yourself way behind the cutoff there for the wild card spot, maybe the coaching change won't be the worst thing that happened to this team this year.
I'm going to be straight up with you guys. Philly is lucky that they have that record, because if the Islanders did not start as bad as they had, or the Rangers too, like, dude, Philly might be in Ottawa territory. Like if the Islanders weren't as bad to start the year, you know what I mean? Like I feel like they would be in the same realm as Ottawa. So I mean, I had them winning the division this year after getting Ellis and all those guys, and it just hasn't panned out. I'm not giving up on any players on this team, especially guys like Couturier, but like it is a huge mystery. Like even remember that game when the Leafs played Philly, they were booing the shit out of their own team. Like they're throwing shit on the ice. I'm just like, this is not good. This is happening too often. And Philly, they're way too good on paper. You know what? Pagniello, you said it perfectly. They are just like Vancouver, literally.
Man, we need I don't like seeing these teams at the bottom. It actually drives me nuts. Picture the Islanders win the fucking lottery, and then they're right back in the conference finals next year. I'm going to lose my shit if a team like Philly or the Islanders goes right to the top. And they're like, oh, that was a nice little retool. They're like the Rangers with fucking with Kako the other year. And oh, look at them now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, well, hey, on the bright side, the bright side, if you're a Philly fan, New Jersey and the Rangers, they haven't taken that step yet. Like, dude, they got Kako and Lafreniere, and the Devils, a divisional rival, got Hughes and Heischer, and they're still struggling in year 3-4 with these guys. So Philly is lucky that they're not, at the bottom right now, because it could be a lot worse. But I do agree with you. If the Islanders win the lottery, that is bullshit.
It was 2 years in a row, knocked out by Tampa in the conference finals. I think I brought that up. Only Tampa's standing in their way. And they're having an off year. And wouldn't it be fucking fitting that the one off year that they have, they get Shane Wright beside Barzell? Fuck you. I hate the way it's set up sometimes.
I know. Oh, it's shit. It happens, though. Just like when Dallas got Heiskanen.
Oh, yeah, they jumped up. You don't notice it, though, because Philly jumped up 12 spots.
Hey, it's all good. I mean, the Avs should have got the first pick, but they kind of did get the first pick and getting Cale Makar, so they're solid.
Remember the Leafs? Nail Yakupov goes to the Oilers. It's all right. The Leafs got Morgan Riley.
There it is.
It all works out.
Good stuff in hockey. Gotta love the NHL.
Boom.
So hockey then, we'll move on to some other topics here, because this is some sneaky shit that you know what? It actually could work out for WWE. Good for them for thinking of this, but they unveiled their first recruits here in a NIL class is what they're calling it, name, image, and license deal that they have with NCAA athletes to eventually join WWE in the future. And I didn't think about this, but if you get some of these athletes that come in with an IG following and they're studs in college, isn't that just even better than just recruiting somebody on the indie scene?
It's something that's I wouldn't say it's going to benefit more, but it's definitely something that we have to realize nowadays, especially with social media. Social media, it's all about following, it's all about who you know, it's all about exposure. So if you're Vince McMahon, and especially with COVID, and if he doesn't want to go to certain bingo halls and watch these wrestlers, just look online, look at what they do. Like for example, you sent us those the Cavender. I don't know if they're twins or sisters there, but that's going to be the Bella twins in like 5 years, 6 years. So you already have those gems there. I do think it's smart though, Aulino. We got to start kind of talking about social media and the impact of wrestling a little bit more. I feel like a lot of us don't talk about that. There's a whole Twitter community. They've been talking about the it's a universe, the WWE universe, but they never really talked about the impact of social media. I think this is going to be the beginning of a completely different scouting system when it comes to the industry of wrestling, and I think it's only going to benefit both the athletes that are being scouted and the WWE just based off exposure.
I mean, I'm not that surprised. We've seen it in the past where they pluck guys out of fucking college basketball or usually football. Most guys come from football. Baron Corbin's a pretty good example. But when you sent the post, I just started laughing because there was like 50 of these guys at once, and you already know they'll probably sign like fucking 3 of them, and 2 of them will be the twins. So I like how they're expanding. The scouting process is hilarious. I wonder how Vince breaks it down. Like, you're going to go to every college in the country and scout women's basketball. I don't know what the fuck they do. I love that they're going out there, though. So, yeah, WWE.
Yeah, before it used to be like Gerald Briscoe, JR going to like every wrestling tournament in the NCAA, and you'll see some fucking freak like Brock Lesnar pop out of nowhere. Now it's like, you know what? We don't need to just go to the wrestlers. They went to the Olympics, got that guy Gable Steveson, but now you're going to see basketball players, track and field athletes, shot put athletes, football players. So I don't know. This could be something smart. And what I think they should do with this, since they're not really going to NXT right now and being a part of that recruitment class, maybe sign, like what you said, 2 or 3 of them, and the rest of them you do a Tough Enough after some of them will learn kind of the basics, and maybe you find another star goal from there. Do you think they should look at this as the future for when they eventually bring back Tough Enough?
Oh, man, absolutely. It's another TV show. It's another way to make more money. So you know what? If you can get another Tough Enough would run for like half the fucking year. That shit was amazing when it was on. Maybe not the last 2 seasons, but early on in the day, the John Morrison days. I would love to see another Tough Enough with all new faces. That would be killer. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, nothing really to add there. Just Triple H would have to be the one in charge, just so I could hear him say, "Your nuts are hanging out of your shorts" again.
Beauty.
Well, another thing here, WWE, NXT was a little emotional one for Johnny Gargano over here, because after the War Games, he comes out on NXT, cuts a promo saying that maybe his time is done, his future in WWE's up in the air. This guy comes in, just absolutely beats the shit out of him, writes him off TV, and his contract's apparently up. And the talk is whether he'll re-sign, go to AEW. I'll start off with you, Chris. Johnny Gargano's career in NXT, he's been a lifer right now. What do you think he should be doing next?
Don't go to the main roster because they already fucked that up once. So, yeah, I'll say AEW bound for Gargano. I think it's too good to be true, man. Honestly, I know the story of him in NXT is just incredible. It's basically been his developmental. It's been him and Ciampa, the Ciampa Gargano show. I remember when they were a tag team way back. I think we were like second year uni, Aulino, because I remember he used to show me clips of them, and like they were fucking ridiculous. But I don't see him getting a call up, which means I do see him getting released. I just don't think they have. I mean, okay, I'm not going to say they don't have what it takes to re-sign him. I just think, based off what he's done the last, he's been in NXT for eight years now. He's been there for 8 years. Like you said, Pagniello, before we went live, like he's given all his 30s in NXT. Like you got to chase a bag now. If you really want to take advantage here, you're gonna go to AEW. You're gonna be stern with the contract talks, and you're gonna get what you want because he deserves everything. You know how many times I've heard match of the year candidates come from Johnny Gargano? I want to say at least 11. And there's probably been no other wrestler that I've heard that have been in so many. Not match of the year, but you know what I mean, like match of the pay-per-view, match of the night. Like it's almost every single night I hear it's Gargano. And what we saw from him and Adam Cole, like, come on, man. You're never gonna see that again. I mean, I think just based off of how NXT's been alone, it's just best for him to move on, honestly.
Fuck that. Stays with the company. They got overkill over there and fucking All Elite on Wednesday nights. You know what I want to see with Johnny? Since they wrote him off TV, he can have him chill at home for 3 months. Thanks for all your efforts. And then the night after WrestleMania, have him choke the fuck someone out on Raw or SmackDown the night after. Completely reinvent yourself. Let's go.
Yeah. I like that more than what I said.
Yeah, I agree with Pagniello here. I don't want to see him go to AEW. I think he'll get lost in the shuffle. Like, you have to look at their roster there, and Andrade's barely like in the mix there. Cody Rhodes, he's going to turn heel, so God help whoever is going to be a main eventer there because that spot's gone. Kenny Omega's eventually going to come back after he's done rehabbing his surgeries or his injuries, and I think it's too bloated, their roster. Like, you're not going to go to Impact to make that kind of money. Bray Wyatt's eventually going to sign somewhere, Braun Strowman, all those Ring of Honor guys. So if I'm Gargano, I look at Daniel Bryan being gone from WWE, that baby face that got the crowd in their favor, and I look, you know what, there's a job opening there. So I think Gargano should go up to the main roster and fill the void from Bryan Danielson, and I think he could be the guy there. I think WWE is in his future, and it probably makes the most sense for him to go there than going to AEW. This is finally his time to go to the big time and dump that developmental and finally make some main event money.
So this is where I asked the question. Then you guys want him to, go on the main roster and reinvent himself. Do you do the Finn Balor approach where, everybody knows who he is. Like, they know what Gargano can bring. Like, when he comes in, do you immediately put him in the title scene? Or do you do what they kind of did with Aleister Black when he first came up? Like, he's a meaningful part, but he's kind of not. Like, he's there, but he's kind of not. Like, what do you do? Like, do you do... Actually, you know what? It's not fair to compare him to Aleister Black. I'll maybe say more of like the Ricochet. So do you do do you take the Finn Balor approach and you go all in on him right away? Or do you maybe do the Ricochet where you kind of ease him into it?
Good God, did they goof that with Ricochet? But I don't know if you have to throw him in a title picture immediately. I would just make him a big game player right off the bat. So whoever's hot a few months from now, I'm thinking specifically after WrestleMania time, because that's the best time to bring someone up. Whoever's rolling, man, he doesn't have to win a title as long as he's a big part of something. Yeah, I would have Johnny come out and fuck someone up and get the crowd buzzing.
Yeah, you know what? They can go two ways with this. They can either have Seth Rollins, if he's not in a main event or main title picture there, if they keep the title on Big E, I'd have Johnny Gargano, Seth Rollins, or The Miz. Have The Miz come out, just bash everyone, bash Johnny Gargano. Maybe Johnny Gargano eliminates him in the Royal Rumble, and there's your feud going for WrestleMania. And The Miz can make another guy because he's a solid pro company guy. Take one for the team, like he did last year with Bad Bunny and Damian Priest, and I think he can do that for Gargano.
What a legend.
I'm down.
Well, speaking of WWE,
just waiting for this one.
Have to do it. It's unfortunate that this day came here because I've been a big fan of this guy. But looks like Jeff Hardy is released after being sent home. So, Chris, I'll start off with you. What do you think about this? Did they make the wrong move here? Or was it just, you know what?
They made no choice. The wrong move, man. I said to you 2 weeks, or it was 2 weeks ago when Pagniello cut out. Remember what I said to you? I said Jeff Hardy would be the perfect guy to just be a stepping stool for Roman Reigns, just to maybe make it a little more unpredictable, a little more fun. Like at least near WrestleMania, you have this guy, one of the top most beloved superstars that I can remember in recent memory, go up against Roman Reigns near WrestleMania. Yeah, it's predictable, but I still think it would be absolutely must see. And unfortunately, they just said, "Hey, fuck it, we're not going to give him another WWE title shot because he doesn't deserve it." And you know what? He did walk out there. I don't know what sort of issues he's going through, if he is. If maybe that was just an excuse for him to leave. I don't know. But I was really expecting maybe one last, not big run, but at least one more. You really have confidence that Jeff Hardy can run with the ball one more time. And I thought we were getting to that point. And it's unfortunate how things just took a really, really quick turn for the worst in terms of Jeff. But I still think WWE is going to regret this decision, no doubt about it. Jeff Hardy, he could still go, and man, he's when you let a fan favorite go like that, it's going to hurt for a little bit.
Is this like the 5th time he's been released over the course of 25 years or something?
Oh man, probably.
Oh, maybe yeah, 5th or 4th, yeah, about that.
I think he leads the league in releases. I don't know. Someone's got to look up that stat, but Hall of Fame 2025.
Him or Jericho.
Oh fuck, Jericho's got a couple under his belt, but Jeff definitely leads the way. I don't know, like watching him walk away, he was probably just thinking, "What a fucking house show! I've been in this goddamn company for so long. I could probably just walk off. I'll be fine." Nope, you're gone. That's one shot. I don't know. I'm not going to comment on his personal life. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but it's obviously unfortunate. Yeah, hopefully he's doing all right.
Do you think they should have just been like, you know what? Okay, if you're refusing this, we're not going to put you back on TV, so your contract's basically frozen. Do you think that would have sent a message, or do you think they just felt, you know what, we've given him like 5, 10, 15, 20 chances, and he ends up just screwing it up at the end? Like, do you think they should have just gave him another shot here?
Like I just said before, like the positioning that he was in the last like month, I maybe would have given him another chance because he was pretty meaningful on SmackDown. Like he wasn't a nobody, like he wasn't a jobber by any means. Like 2 months ago, I think he was in that 24/7 title situation, and like all the fans took to Twitter and were like, "No, this can't be a thing. Like he's way better than that." So then the last couple of months, I'm pretty sure he was a part of the SmackDown Raw, build for. I mean, there was no build for that 5-on-5 match, but like we saw, Jeff Hardy was the lone survivor for SmackDown, and all of a sudden he got released. So I feel like I don't know, man. Like it kind of came out of nowhere. We all know Jeff Hardy's like history with all that stuff, and they've given him chances before, but I thought like this time around, just based off how great, even when he came back at WrestleMania that year with Matt and like they tore the house down, that match and won the tag titles. I just thought, like he wasn't going to go through this cycle again. And it's unfortunate how he just kind of walked out. Now, I don't know if it's him being in the company too long or maybe he was, under the influence. Again, I have no idea, but he has done it before. You could see it from both sides. If you're Vince, you could say, "Hey, like you've been here, you're a vet, we value you, just don't do it again." But like you said, he's done it, I think, 3 or 4 times, and I think Vince was just ticked off, and it's unfortunate.
If I had to guess, it would be the second one. Yeah, because the first one they would probably use on everyone else, but I could definitely see the reason behind the second one. But just because it's Jeff Hardy, I feel like they should just give him the benefit of the doubt and be like, "Okay, we're not re-signing you. We're letting your contract up. We're not gonna. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt of not firing you." So there.
Yeah. I think they should have done that. Like what you said, like maybe freeze the contract. Like you could stay home, like take care of yourself, but just know when your contract's up, we're not re-signing you.
Yeah, that would have made sense. Especially like this is what's weird. Like I know like with Pagniello, I agree there. Like he has done in the past. I think that's what caused them to say, okay, we're not even gonna take chances at this point because he did it in TNA in the main event of a pay-per-view against Sting, and that was bad. So I think
Jesus.
he's like, you know what? This 10 years ago he's did this, and now in this company, it wasn't a TV match, but how are you going to put him in a main event if he's doing that at a live event? So I see their reasoning, but a guy like this, why is he even wrestling at a live event in the first place? Don't you think you want to save him for like shows that matter? Like he's doing the same bumps, he's doing the same moveset, he's in his mid-40s. Shouldn't they just use him on TV and that's it?
I think that was the whole like I don't want to bash Jeff at all, but I feel like that was the whole narrative this time around. We love Jeff Hardy. It's just like when it comes to the amount of matches he has, it's like nah, like we only want him when we want him, and for the most part, we want him in higher quality matches than house shows. So like again, Pagniello, I'm gonna bring this up now because you're here. So when we did the 5-on-5, you said he would last 10 seconds. Like you probably thought that just because of how you look at all the other names. It's like, oh, it's Jeff Hardy, man. Like he's been here. Like who cares? He's not gonna do shit. Whereas they did it the other way. The guy was the final survivor, and like Seth Rollins eliminated him. And like you mentioned, there's that nostalgia storyline that continues to just be over Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is always the guy to beat the nostalgia guys. So, but like with Jeff Hardy, it's just that's been the narrative since he was going for the Intercontinental title against Shinsuke. Like going up in those singles feuds, it's like we need to see Jeff go on another WWE title run. And now, is he the same Jeff from '08? Absolutely not. But like, it's the history's there. The support is there. If Daniel Bryan could get one, why couldn't Jeff Hardy? Like, I'm not saying he's going to get the yes moment, WrestleMania moment, but like, why couldn't we get Jeff Hardy versus Roman Reigns at a meaningful pay-per-view? Like you did it with Rusev Day. Why can't you do it again with Jeff Hardy?
Probably because of all the extra shit, Holmes.
Yeah, but the fans matter the most.
But Aulino, I didn't even book the fact that he was working house shows as much as he was. And a guy like Jeff, like in terms of his style in the ring, has not adapted since the fucking 90s. He is doing, like you said, the exact same bumps. He's doing the same shit. So they probably should have limited that, yeah.
Yeah, because if you're a guy like Jeff Hardy, Rey Mysterio, guys who are doing these high-flying moves over and over and over again, like you would think, you know what, maybe go out do your entrance, but does he have to do a swanton bomb in front of fucking nobody just for a house crowd?
Like, I get it. Like, the three of us have been to a ton of those fucking house shows. $40, yeah, we'll go sit at the back, whatever. It's nice to see some of those familiar names, but you don't have to kill yourself. It's a house show, man. That's all I got there.
Yeah, because it's like at those house shows, it's just to build a feud, like we saw with Miz and Cesaro when we went back in like 2013. That just showed like stuff they can work on, and then they ended up doing it on TV. So if you're having Jeff Hardy doing a swanton and doing these crazy bumps, like how does that help anything? I don't know.
Yeah, I need to practice my 450s again. I'm getting a little rusty.
Yeah, Ricochet, do a
geez.
shooting star press on the outside. See if you can do it for TV. Sure.
Yeah, man. There's just this whole thing to me, like the way it ended is just very, very unfortunate, man. Like so many guys I know, like that don't watch wrestling anymore. He's the first guy that they always mention is Jeff Hardy, and it's like, yeah, he's still there. And now, when people ask, is Jeff Hardy still there? I'll be like, nah, man, got released, walked out. Woo.
Only 2 years.
But wait, yeah, maybe in 2 years he'll come back as a 47-year-old, still has the face paint. Let's do it up. Always comes full circle.
Now everyone's gonna jump to conclusions with AEW, but like now Jeff Hardy has a history of doing this in a match. You think they're gonna be a little bit more reserved of the idea of bringing him in, or do you think they'll give him a chance to come in?
No. They're not going to be reserved, man. I don't think so. With Matt Hardy there, with Darby Allin and Sting there, I think they're going to be just fine. Like they have a lot of options over there. I know that the roster is loaded, but I mean they do like the nostalgia guys. They brought in Big Show. They brought in Arn Anderson, Billy Gunn. Like All these guys are nostalgia guys, so come on, man. Like, it's written in the stars now. The Hardys versus the frickin' Young Bucks. It's written in the stars. It's gonna happen. It's every frickin'. I mean, I wouldn't say any wrestling fan's dream, but like, if you like tag team wrestling, that's probably one of your all-time dream matches. So it has to happen now. I'm gonna say it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, all four of them will be battling, all fucking standing on top of a ladder of their own. And Jesus Christ. But yeah, they'll give him a shout. I don't know when, but if he's available.
And the last topic here that we'll go to in WWE on the positive, because they're throwing stuff out of nowhere here with this whole day one pay-per-view, and it's getting people thinking like they're building this better than they're doing WrestleMania at this point. Like, I don't know what they're planning on making this like an annual thing, but it looks like Lashley's going to get added to this triple threat match to make it a fatal four-way. You got Miz and Edge, Usos versus New Day, and right there, Brock versus Roman. So are they building, you think, a big 5 pay-per-view? Like, will this replace Money in the Bank eventually?
Well, this was kind of reminding me of New Year's Revolution. Honestly, that's what I kind of got the vibe from. I like the main 4 pay-per-views. I don't know if they're trying to add to it, but I like the idea. I don't know if I'm crazy about the name and the design, but I miss having a pay-per-view on the first. I don't know about you guys.
I do. I agree. It does remind me of New Year's Revolution, and I do think they should keep this. I really like it. I like the whole dynamic of it. Like, again, everybody, they react to things differently. I was talking to a guy at my work, a big wrestling fan, and he thinks it's like one of the dumbest ideas. And I mentioned, how New Year's Revolution always used to be on the first night, and he's like, yeah, but like that's that has the elimination chamber for the most part. And I'm like, yeah, but they haven't done that in years. So I mean, this is fresh, it's different. Again, a lot of people, oh well, it's 30 days before the Rumble, they're rushing, and it's like, nah, not really. If you can build up a solid pay-per-view, then I don't really see the problem here. And they are. And like you said, Aulino, they're building this up because I do think that Big E is losing the title. I don't see him retaining. Love the run. Love the run. Very, very short. Will it be his last? I don't think so. But I do see Seth Rollins winning the title at day one.
Oh man!
And I don't know if it's just me, boys, but like the more I watch this Seth Rollins specifically, I feel like he's getting cheered more and more every week.
That guy's a chameleon.
But you know what, Aulino, I'll ask you this. I'll ask you this too to close it. Is Kevin Owens, is he done with WWE? Is this his last WWE pay-per-view match?
Yeah, I was just thinking of that. I think it could be it, but you know how he is. Maybe he'll swerve him and sign something. Just wants to be a heel and play it in the character, but he's in a world title match, so maybe this is just one last way to make something off him, give him a loss. He'll take the pin probably in this match, but yeah, I see it being his last pay-per-view.
It would be fun for him to jump ship because he's friends with all those guys and they go back to the PWG days. But I honestly feel like KO's a WWE guy as well, and he'll find a way to stay there.
Interesting.
Boom.
So if Seth wins this, who are you having him face at WrestleMania?
On this day, I see clearly. Edge versus Seth Rollins, WrestleMania. Book it. That feud is not over yet. Seth has to curb stomp Beth.
Does that match have a stipulation?
Hell in a Cell.
Probably a TLC.
Oh, I like that.
Because you know what? Edge still hasn't gotten that. I mean, I don't know if he's ever going to get the title again, but I do feel like he is getting it at some point. So I think Edge might beat Seth Rollins for it.
Like it. I think Big E, depending on what happens, I think his future is Goldberg. That's his dream match. Seth Rollins, so that leaves another opening there. But another one, if Bobby Lashley's added to this, do you think there's a swerve there? Lesnar loses to Reigns, goes to the Rumble, wins it, and challenges Lashley?
That sounds about right. Yeah, they've been talking about it for a while. So if that were to happen, I wouldn't be surprised. I would actually look forward to that if that were to be the case. But for now, I'll say Seth Rollins has it going into Mania.
And there you have it.
There it is. Another episode. This was solid. Talked about a bunch of things. Maybe Mitchie
Spezza,
improves.
that goon.
Yeah, Spezza taking the load management. He hurt his knee. It bumped into Pionk. That's my story, but that was another good episode. We'll see you next week.